What a debut for Shöta Imanaga. The return of Kris Bryant. Ryne Sandberg threw out the first pitch, and Christopher Morel with another one of those games where he was up and he was down, except this time the up definitely carried the Cubs to a victory. We're going to talk all of that, including a preview of today's game right here on the Cubs Baseball channel. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. That's a great way of saying go Cubs, and let's get this party started. Here's your invitation to our show. So everybody, welcome to the Cubs Baseball channel. I'm Mick Gillispie at Broadcaster Mick on the socials, and it is an honor to talk Cubs baseball with you guys on a daily basis. 40 years of Cub fandom, and I know some of you guys get in the comment section like, man, I started in the 60s cheering for the Cubs. Anybody in the 50s? Do we have any, people that remember the 50s Cubs, like young Ernie? Get in that comment section and tell me. But we appreciate all of you guys, whether you were a Cubs fan when Harry and Steve were on, maybe you remember Sammy Sosa, maybe you got your Cubs fandom in 2000, the early 2000s, or maybe it was the guys like Kris Bryant, who's back in town, that got you excited about the Cubs and went on to a World Series championship. First, though, let me tell you about one of the guys that I love. Yeah, Ryne. You see him in the video in the open. I love Ryne. Got to spend time around him, know him, great guy. And we are all thinking, praying, sending positive vibes his way as he deals with prostate cancer, going through the treatments. But yesterday, for opening day, he was there throughout the first pitch and did a great job. Craig Counsell said that when he walked on the field, you could just tell his aura that he was a great player. He didn't say aura, I'm throwing that in there, but you just get that vibe. I spent a year around him every single day of baseball, and it was like being around John Wayne every day. It was like just an icon, someone that you just were like, hey, am I really hanging out with this guy? I'm really like, playing practical jokes on him, or he's doing it to me. But he's a great guy. He was a wonderful player. And it was his teams that helped me fall in love with the Cubs, him and eventually the Hawk and, Jody Davis and all of those guys. So great to see him still doing well and continue to send all of that positivity his way as he fights cancer. But we all love Ryne. So that's how the game got going. And then Christopher Morel, you saw it. He is such a mixed bag right now. And I got to tell you, when he was coming up through the Cubs system, I always felt like this was his biggest problem. And it's consistency. It's consistency where he's so good and yet can be so bad in the same game. And I talked about it yesterday. A lot of times it cancels itself out. Now, Shöta Imanaga really made it to where the errors weren't a big deal in yesterday's game. But they're just plays he's got to start making. Now, with that said, the Cubs are hoping that eventually he does. And who knows, maybe some of it's mental at this point because he's good for an error a game right now. And if you're Morel, you're probably in the back of your mind thinking about it, wondering if you're going to have the ball hit your way and then anticipating what you're doing. It's not just reaction anymore. The way that you step and throw to first base is something that's in your head. The amount of velocity that you put on the throw is in your head. Catching the ball's in your head. So all of those things right now are working against him, and it was another bad game defensively. But he made up for it. He hits the ball so hard. And the most exciting play in the game was in the sixth inning where he hit a ground ball to left, and the left fielder ran right by it. ran up to try to pick it up. He was worried that, the Cubs were going to try to score, and then ran by the ball, and it rolled to the ivy, and Morel, he gets to third, and then the throw in was bad, and it was a little league home run. So it was really a single. But one of the things that the Cubs and the analytics people love about Morel is his exit velocity on hits. And that's an example of why it's good to hit the ball hard, because mistakes happen. And that ball just kind of scooted all the way to the wall. And then once the Cubs got the lead, it was pretty much locked in pitching, and the Rockies had no chance on opening day. The Cubs beat them 5-0, right? So how about Shöta Imanaga? Hey, Chicago, what do you say? Cubs are going to win today. I love this guy. And he is an example of what we love as a fan. We love people that come in and embrace the Cubs culture. And that's exactly what he's doing. And he's done it since the beginning because he wanted to be a Cub. Like Andre Dawson. I don't ever remember thinking that Andre Dawson wasn't a Cub. I mean, from the time that we got him until, obviously the time that he left. But even when he was gone, I used to think it was a Marlins uniform, but he's a Cub. And it was because he signed a blank contract, or gave them a blank contract. Hey, I want to play here. And for Imanaga, it's kind of, along those same lines. It could have gone to other places and decided to come to Chicago. Loves the culture. Incredible. The four-seamer was great. The splitter was great. He had guys, hitters off balance the entire game. He has really figured out the best way to approach pitching. And there was a 13 pitch at bat, and he eventually got the batter out, but it ate up his pitch count. They're not going to let him throw over 100 pitches. This isn't the day and age where a guy's going to go out there and in his debut get to pitch, go in there and get to pitch a complete game, right? So Almonte and then Smiley finished it off, but what a debut, man. 6 beautiful innings, 2 hits, 9 strikeouts, no walks. He was fantastic. He was fired up. The weather wasn't great, but he was. And, and he said in his post game, he's like, the weather wasn't great for them either. So I love that attitude. That's how you got to play the game. So the Cubs now 2-2, lost the first 2, won the next 2, and they're back to 500 again. So congratulations to them. Now, former Cub Kris Bryant was there, got a great ovation as always. I'd do the same thing. Love Kris. KB, one of my all-time favorites. And it really is difficult to understand what's going on right now with him and Javi Baez, because these are 2 players that we expected to dominate Major League Baseball for a long time. And KB's 0 for 14 with 8 strikeouts. It's not going well for him so far. When you watch him play, it's hard to figure out what the deal is, but I don't want him to get going against the Cubs, but I sure hope he gets going. He did the interview in the offseason talking about the contract that he signed. And, he's got, I think Scott Boras is his agent, made a lot of money with the contract. He's never going to have to worry about money, but he was going to get paid no matter where he went. And it just feels like there's some remorse there from that article. Maybe there wasn't, but, about signing. And maybe that's playing into this, or maybe the game's passed him by. I mean, I hate to say that, but you get old fast in baseball. You deal with some injuries. All of a sudden, you're different as far as the way that you get to the ball. And it feels like that could be part of this. I mean, he's been in Colorado now 3 years, and they've been 3 really bad years. But with that said, I think we're all in our own way pulling for him to get it turned around and find that magic again. The magic that we saw when he came up through the system and got to the major leagues and really never struggled. I mean, I'm sure this is the first time he's ever struggled like this in baseball, and it's going on 3 years. So the Cubs will try to keep that struggling going for Kris Bryant. It'll be Javier Assad getting the start, his debut of this season. and it'll be Kyle Freeland who will look to rebound after getting roughed up in his debut. So Cubs and the Colorado Rockies set for 6:40 tonight, and let's hope the Cubs can keep it going. Let's hope the weather can cooperate too, right? Guys, like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Thanks for hanging out with us here on the Cubs Baseball channel, and get in that comment section. 2-2, get a couple dubs. You got to be happy about that. Let's raise the W. Let's go Cubs. All right, we'll talk to you again tomorrow unless something breaks, and appreciate all of you guys for hanging out.